this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here again with my art journal. We are up to day 4 of our 7 days of art journaling. And I'm using these pieces here today as my inspiration to create our page layout. So yeah, I'm just going to get cracking kind of straight away. Yeah, I'm going to have these bits and I'm going to have lots of kind of texty stuff, I think, in the background, because obviously we've got the typewriter. So that would seem, you know, fitting. So I'm just going to use some of this book page. This is some vintage book page. You know, no particular kind of reason why I've chosen it or anything. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of glue some down onto the page. Now, do you know, I might just glue down an entire piece. I don't very often kind of do that. But yeah, I think that would be... yeah, I think that would kind of work okay. Obviously, we're going to gesso over some of this and, you know, things like that. So how much of it will really kind of be apparent, I don't know. I'm keeping the straight edges, which again, you know, I don't very often actually keep straight edges, but let's just go for it and, you know, see how that is. Oops, I'm having glue problems and I've only just switched the camera on, so that's just not very good, is it? Hold on. Oh, come on. Right, okay. Hopefully that was just a blip and we will not have any other further problems through the video. So, okay. So I'm just going to get this down. So the typewriter is from my large images collection. So the large vintage images. So hopefully by this point I've actually got kind of another set, which is possibly nature or botanical. Obviously, as I'm filming this video, the other set's not actually in my shop yet. But, well, neither set are in my shop. But, yeah, hopefully by the time this video goes up, they're actually in there with their, you know, their final versions and final names and what have you. So, who knows? Who knows? That's the plan. Right, now I'm just now hunting around for my wipe. Super disorganised today. I'm filming on a Sunday. Don't very often film on a Sunday. But everyone's still in bed and I thought, wow, you know, what a great opportunity to come along and do this. And I really wanted to, you know, to just come along and do another page in here because I'm really enjoying doing it. And yeah, just thought ideal opportunity to come along and do this. Right, so I've got that one. Now, do I want any more is the question. I might just put another little bit just kind of down here, I think. So kind of like petering off on the edge of the page. Again, like I say, I don't know how much of this is even going to be, you know, visible or, you know, certainly the kind of edges and things like that. So, you know, it's probably not that important to overthink what's going on in the background, to be perfectly honest. But I'm hoping that we're going to have a vintage stationery feel to this page. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Okay. Right, now the other thing that I would quite like to do is have some white on this page. So I haven't had any white going on at all throughout the whole, you know, pieces that we've done. I've just kind of had brighter and brighter stuff actually on every page. So I'm going to try my best not to get too carried away and too bright on this one. Whether or not I can carry that off, I don't know, because, you know, it's just by chance that everything seems to have got brighter and brighter. It's not kind of deliberate. But yeah, with each day, I've ended up with a brighter and brighter layout. So be interesting to see whether I can actually rein it back in today and not go so bright. I don't know whether I'm going to make it, to be honest, because I am very drawn to bright things. So I'm going to cover the page with some of this clear gesso. Oh gosh. I struggled to put the lid on the other day. Now I'm struggling to take the lid off. So, and again, I'm using the clear gesso, and the reason being I'm just trying to get a, oh, what do you call it? Ah, what do you call this? Prepare the pages. Prepare the pages. So that hopefully if I come to kind of like do any shading or, you know, painting or anything like that, it's just going to blend a bit better if I've got some gesso on here. Obviously, I didn't want to cover the background with white gesso because actually, you know, I've intentionally used this buff coloured or craft coloured scrapbook to do this art journal because I love that craft colour. So I want to have some of that showing. I don't want to just smother it in, you know, white gesso where it's all covered up. I might do some white gesso in, you know, in a bit on here. But yeah, I don't want to cover the whole thing, certainly with white gesso. So just want to kind of go over a little bit like that. Okay. So just get rid of that now off of my desk, so it's not in the way. Sorry for jogging the table there. So I'm going to take my now textured gesso. So they call it heavy gesso. And again, this is white. And I'm going to do some stenciling, I think, in the background. Now, I am using my typewriter and my photo image. So I'm just having a look. Do I want to put these down first? I can't remember whether on the other days have I actually put my things down and then gessoed over, or have I gessoed over and then put my things down? Pretty sure that I've gessoed over and then put my things down. So just in the name of mixing this up, I might just yeah, get this, the photo at least. And this is just a printable from my shop, so it's not a genuine, well, I mean, it is taken from a genuine vintage photo that I just have in my collection, but it's not the original, if you see what I mean. So, yeah, just going to pop that down there like that. Now, obviously, my gesso is still wet, you know, because I've only just put it on, so just going to press this down. Okay, I love these colours together. They look so vintage, don't they? Just so vintage and scrumptious. You know, who knows? We might not kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. So I'm not going to make any sweeping statements. I was about to, but yeah. Okay, so hopefully that's gluing on there. Now, I should probably dry my page, although to be honest, it feels like it's drying pretty quickly, so might not really be necessary. Now, yeah, I'm going to have my typewriter down here. I'm kind of thinking maybe put the heavy gesso on first before the typewriter goes onto the page. I think would be good. And the other thing that I've got is I've got some new flowers that are hopefully in my shop by now, and I thought these would look gorgeous. They're just kind of a vintagey kind of vibe going on, and yeah, hopefully they're going to look really pretty on this page. So I'm just going to quickly cut a couple more of those out. Yeah, I just kind of finished the video yesterday, and I was showing it to my daughter and said, you know, do you like Mummy's page? And I mean, her first observation, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, because I might have said this in another video, or perhaps it was the day before. But anyway, I'd showed her and said, oh, do you like Mummy's art journal page? You know, would you like to do some with Mummy? And the first thing she said was, oh, Mummy, that's not art. You're just gluing things down. My daughter's very lucky because she can draw really quite well, and she loves drawing. And honestly, I mean, she's getting really, really good. You know, I mean, obviously she's only 7, but yeah, her drawing is really great. And, you know, I mean, I can't draw. So yeah, her kind of main observation was, oh, Mummy, that's not art. You're just gluing things, you know. Why aren't you drawing or painting? I said, well, Mummy can't draw. So, you know, I'm just going with what I can do, which is obviously cutting out and gluing. So, although cutting out maybe is proving difficult for me today. Yeah, anyway, so she did make me laugh. But it was then when I was kind of looking through those, you know, the pages that I'd done, and I thought, they're gradually brighter and brighter, and I just thought, oh my goodness, by the end of the 7 days, I'll be like literally neon, you know, like a blast from 1981 or something, you know. So, yeah, I thought, let's come along and see if I can rein it back in and try and do something a little bit more vintage and muted looking. It's weird, isn't it? But I think because I use the vintage stuff and the vintage look a lot in journals, you know, when I'm doing the art journaling, I kind of tend to go crazy and really like make the most of being able to use colour. So I think that's what's happened, is basically, you know, every page that I do is just like, wow, it's brighter and brighter and brighter. Because, you know, it's like an excuse to use some colour. Yeah. But I thought, well, let's see. I don't think really I've particularly done an art journal page in a vintage kind of style. So, you know, I'm quite interested to even see if I can actually contain myself, you know, contain myself and manage to do just vintage look, or whether I will actually just, you know, get carried away and do all over madness again. I'm not sure. Right, so I've got those. Now, I've also got a script stamp, so let me just pull that in. It's quite a new one. I bought it reasonably recently. Oops, it's just in my little bag here, so let me just find that. Yeah, I bought it quite recently. Well, in the last few months anyway. So I think I'm going to do some script stamping in the background. I absolutely love script stamps, and you know, I've got several of them now. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of, you know, just randomly script stamp around on here. I'm not going to try and kind of like get the whole thing in. I mean, the whole thing would be nice. I might even do, actually I might do some on some other paper actually and glue it down. I'm thinking would look quite good. So let's just move these bits out of the way. Okay, right, let's do some random script stamp or stamping. Oh, how lovely does that look? I just love the look of script stamps for some reason. They look really good, don't they? Okay. Right, looking good. So what I might do actually is, and I'm just going to move this out of the way to do this, I might just quickly stamp some on, oh, what have I got here? Oh, right, this was not part of the plan, but just suddenly noticed that I've got that sewing pattern paper. So I'm now thinking maybe stamp this on there. Okay. I was actually thinking it was brown paper when I spotted it, and I thought, oh, let's have some brown paper. And then I thought, oh, it's actually sewing pattern paper, which might be even more fun to use, because then we get obviously the texture. So yeah, let's just kind of tear that down. Oops. Oh my goodness, making a horrible job of tearing. Should really kind of, yeah, whenever I do things without eating, I should always kind of say, oh, I do apologise, you know, I've not eaten. Because it seems to just make such a huge difference, you know, whether I've eaten or not. Okay, so I quite like that, you know, maybe over the top there. I think that looks really nice. So I'm going to just, I think, Mod Podge that. Yeah, Mod Podge that on. So I'm just grabbing my Mod Podge. Okay. Oops. Okay. Just use this same spreader. So, okay. Right. Let's just put that down here. Looks nice, doesn't it? I like the fact it's going across the, you know, the different colours there. That's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, I've just noticed I've got some coffee dyed doily. Could have that somewhere. I mean, again, all I'm doing here is kind of building up some layers, really. Yeah, just building up some little layers. Perhaps I'll have those like overlapping each other. So again, just going to put them down with the Mod Podge. Whoops. Now this one. Like that. Okay. Right, so I've got those. Now, just wondering, still now wondering whether to do that, you know, script stamp on some paper, which was my original plan. So, yeah, rather than the same pattern paper, I know we did do it on that, but, you know, some actual paper. So, again, let me just see what I've got laying about. So, okay, got this. So, let's just do another... Whoops, another stamp on here. Oops, my Stays-On's now slipped into my drawer. Okay. Like that. And we will just pop it on there. This is a woodware stamp. Can't remember the name of it. What's it called? Grouped. Ship to Porto, I think it's called. So, yeah. But it's a very, very nice stamp, isn't it? It's gorgeous script on there. Okay, right. Now I'm thinking, cut this down. And actually, I think what I might like to do is really kind of like distress it a lot around those edges. Like that, okay. And then really kind of ink this a lot. Oops. That. I mean, to be honest, I could even screw it up a little bit. I mean, this is kind of thickish because it's a printable that I've printed on, you know, thicker sort of paper, but that's fine. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, loving how that looks. That's yummy and scrumptious, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Right, let me pull the page back in. Now, wondering whether to have it down here, actually, or maybe over here. Let me just bring that typewriter in. Because, you know, maybe it will depend where that's going to go. Yeah, maybe kind of down there, do we think? Or up here? Now, what I want to do is poke something in here as if the paper's coming out. So I might just do that quickly now, because I don't want to put that in there, or, you know, put that down on the page if then that would be completely covered anyway. So I've got here some, again, more vintage book page, but different. Now, I have intentionally picked one that's kind of like verse, because it's small. So I'm hoping it's going to look like it would fit in the typewriter. It might not, to be honest, but who knows. So I'm just going to cut that down. Might just have to cut this edge off. We'll see. Oh, I've cut through 2 pages now. Oh, do you know, that might just go in there. Might just go into there, you know. So I'm just going to get my craft knife and cut across, you know, like where the paper would go. Now, unfortunately, it has got these little clamps. I've got to be honest, I don't think I'm anywhere near clever enough to be able to cut around those. Shall I try? Oh, let me put my glasses on. Oh my goodness, my glasses have got like smeary, probably glue. If I'm truthful, it's probably glue. Ah, right. Oh my goodness, no, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to cut around those, but let's give it a try. I mean, if the worst comes to the worst, I'll just cut them off. You know, if I make a terrible job of it, I can just get rid of them, can't I? So Right, oh my goodness, cut around those. Ah, my goodness, this is so fiddly. You know, sometimes you just think, I don't know why I've started this. Why did I think this would be a good idea? I just thought it would look so much more authentic if it had those little bits. I mean, there's probably a formal name for them, but you know, the paper holders. I thought, oh, it would look so much better if they're actually like clamping the paper in rather than just cutting straight the way across. Right, okay. Now, obviously, these are my large images, but I've printed them on 250 GSM, it might be. So, you know, they're thicker than they would ordinarily be. Right, now I'm going to just quickly ink this because, of course, I've, you know, not made a brilliant job of cutting that with the craft knife. So, yeah, let's just ink that. Let's see if this fits in here now. I might need to... Oh, no, it does. Would you believe? It does, it does. So, yeah, well, that was good. Now, I wonder whether I could get it to go. Don't think I'm going to be able to. But I think what I'll do is just cut off this here. Because, of course, otherwise we've got that weird, you know, like the actual paper hanging out. So we want it to look like, obviously, this is the piece that we're typing, don't we? So, yeah. Okay, right. Let's just cut this off here. And I'm just going to ink this up a little bit, because otherwise this will be very stark and white compared to everything else that's on the page. Right, let's just ink up that typewriter where it's got just a couple of white bits. And, yep, go around there. Okay. Oh, feel excited. Excited that I managed to cut that and that this has fitted in there. Oops. Come on. Ah, how lovely does that look? I love it. Right, let me bring the book back in. So, I can get rid of my craft knife now. Pretty sure I don't need to do anything else with that, thankfully. Now, where did I say about having this? Did I say kind of down there? Or was I thinking of having it up here? Do you know, I'm actually quite liking it like layered, you know, double layered. So I think I'm going to put this up there. Like that. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to have that there. Hopefully a bit angled. Okay. So just kind of laying it out a bit flatter because, of course, I'd screwed that up, you know, deliberately to get a bit more kind of texture going on. But, yeah, I just want to kind of glue that down now. Right, now I'm just going to glue this into the typewriter, this piece of paper. And then I would just go in from the, whoops, from the front now and just glue this piece down like that. Okie doke. And then I just need to glue these little things that obviously was all the trouble was about, trying to cut them out. Clamping that piece of paper in like that. Okay. Oh, love, love, love this page so far. Oh, what a yummy page. Now, this is what happens is I kind of do all this and then I think, oh, I'm not sure whether I can dare to do any gesso now because I'm loving all these vintage colours. Which, what's wrong with me? You know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, that's what's now going on. I'm like, oh, do I want to now go over with the gesso or shall I just have it gesso-less? Oh, do you know, I'm going to put some gesso on. So I'm going to try and use, I think, that same stencil that I used last time, I think. So yeah, let me just check where it is. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Oh, actually, before I do, I did have that other stencil, didn't I, that I'd bought. I'm just having a look to see. The other one kind of had words on it, so that might be better. Oh, I don't know where that's gone now. I've obviously dropped it somewhere. Okay, well, I'll have to just... Oh, no, there it is. Right. So I've got this one. Ooh, that. Let's have that. Now, again, I still haven't quite decided. Do I want it over or do I want it under the typewriter? Oh, my goodness. Never opened this before, so... Of course, that was then a problem. So these, again, these are those Craft Treat, is the brand, Craft Treat. And, you know, touch wood, the ones I've used so far have been really lovely. Yeah, I'm going to have it under the typewriter. Okay, so I'm going to just have it here to the side. So I'm going to do it in the heavy gesso in white. I'm now thinking, oh, why have I picked white? Why didn't I do black? I do like the black. It's kind of my favourite. But yeah, I didn't want to kind of go too heavy on this page, but now I'm thinking, oh, perhaps the black would have looked better actually, because perhaps the white's just going to look really stark and weird. Okay, I'm now not sure whether I'm going to get much painting onto this page, you know, because yeah, I'm really loving it as it is. Oh, just gone through that hole up there. Let's wipe that off. Such a nice stencil, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Right, now, do I want a swirly stencil or anything on this page? Because I do love a flourish or a you know, swirl. So let's just wipe that stencil a bit clean. Okay, right. Yeah, what do we think? Shall we have a flourish on there or not? Just having a look. Oh, do you know, we've now got the gesso out and everything. Let's just go for this, shall we? Let's mix it up and have a bit of a flourish over here in the corner. So just deciding how to have it, maybe like that. Okay. And I don't need it full, if you know what I mean. You know, I can just have a portion of it. Don't have to have the entire flourish, really. I can just have a little bit. Like that. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? Do I want any other? Maybe just a little bit coming out here. Yeah, let's just go for a tiny bit here. Okay, right. And that's probably enough. I have obviously, you know, I mean, actually that looks really pretty. It was not deliberate, obviously. It was just laziness because I hadn't cleaned my stencil in between. But how nice does that look? With that sort of almost like ghosty part of the stencil that's now showing. Right, let me just do my gesso up and get that off of the desk. One less thing to contend with. Okay, let's wipe the stencil off. Okay, right, they're really nice stencils, aren't they? I mean, they do seem to come out really pretty nicely. So yeah, Craft Treat is what they're called, and I got them from Amazon. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I got them from Amazon. Trying to think now, perhaps it was eBay, but I'm pretty sure it was Amazon. Craft Treat is the brand. So very nice stencils. Would really recommend them. Okay. Yeah, I love how this page looks so far. Now, I've just put my stencils away, and whilst I was over there, I then just spotted here, I've got some of these Tim Holtz tickets. Oh my goodness, I mean, I've had these for years. Again, I've hoarded them obviously for years, but I've just got this one. So I'm just bringing that one in. I notice how I'm only pulling one in. I can't bring myself to obviously be too generous. I don't want to use any more than one. Heaven forbid. Right. So let's tear this ticket off. But I love how this looks, you know, this edge. So let's just quickly ink this up so this is looking a bit more grungy as well. Okay. Love how that looks. So again, just wondering. Obviously I need to be a bit careful because my gesso is wet now. Otherwise, before I know it, I'm going to be dragging it around the page and smearing it everywhere, which is not probably a very good look. Probably should dry it off really, you know, to just eliminate the risk. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Done this every day. Put something in this little space. It's just, it looks really cute with something stuck in that space, doesn't it? So, yeah, today's item is going to be this ticket. Okay. So, yeah, just pop that down there. I love it when you just, you know, you find something and you're just instantly like, yeah, love that. Okay. Okie dokie. And we're just going to pop this one down here. Okay, oops, just pop that one down. Like that. Again, kind of leaving those, you know, where it's been torn out. Trying to leave those, what's the word? You know, like not flapping, but raised. So that we've got some texture going on. So, loving how that all looks. Right, let me try and dry that gesso before I dab it off over anything. Yeah, okay. And you know, I've got some letter stickers somewhere, which I think would look really good with this. I'm not sure where they are either, so I might have to nip off and try and find them in a minute. Not sure what I would write on this page. I mean, obviously you don't have to write anything, you don't have to have a sentiment, but I'm kind of thinking, oh, maybe a sentiment would be nice. So yeah, let's just get that gesso dry. That heavy gesso takes longer to dry than you think, to be honest. You know, it's, well, I mean, I guess obviously it's heavy gesso, so it's living up to its name of being, you know, thicker. Right. So I'm going to have my typewriter there. And like I say, I've got these flowers, which I thought would look really cute on this page as well. I mean, I could leave it completely colourless and just have completely vintage. Or we could obviously add some flowers. Yeah, I mean, I like it either way, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure, you know, I'm sure many people are probably saying, no, leave it colourless. But, I mean, I do love a flower. And how cute do they look? They look really lovely, don't they? So, yeah, I think we will add those. Let's just have a look. but maybe only a couple, to be honest. Yeah, I do like it with them. I mean, I was just kind of took that away then just to check. Oh, sorry, I've got thread now stuck on my glue. Just to check whether I wanted the flowers or whether I prefer it colourless. But actually, yeah, I think the flowers are a nice addition, aren't they? So let's pop that one down there. And do you know what? I just suddenly thought, I wonder if we could do anything with this other portion of this ticket. Kind of thinking actually maybe like a staple or something. You know, so we've got some other texture going on. So yeah, I'm wondering, I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz, you know, small stapler. Tiny attacher, it's called. I don't know why I'm calling it a small stapler, but yeah, I'm going to just put... Do you know, actually, I'm now thinking perhaps I'll have big staples. Because, to be honest, you know, maybe actually I want to have a bit more of a stationary feel going on. So, yeah, I'm actually going to deliberately use big ones. Like that, I think. I know, I mean, as if it's really making a lot of difference, to be honest, but, you know. Okay, so I'm going to glue my typewriter down. Now, again, I'm going to glue it with my hot glue and try and have it slightly raised. So I'm going to do it in two halves. So I'm going to just take the top half first. And then I will probably glue, you know, what's coming out of the typewriter, you know, with wet glue. So, yeah. So that's the typewriter. Loving how that looks. Then I've got this here. Now I just want to check that I don't want it under the typewriter or anything. Because, you know, that's an option, obviously. Just check. Quite like it under the typewriter, actually. That wasn't kind of my plan, but yeah, I think it's actually quite nice under the typewriter. So, yeah. Let's just glue that down. Again, just using the wet glue here. So I'll just pop that down there. Okay. So my paper, just going to wet glue the paper on. Okay, so that paper's kind of struggling to glue down really because of course I forgot, but I've got this which is quite lumpy and things. So, you know, it's not the best to be honest, but I mean I could even maybe pin it back up and see, you know, could even have it a bit kind of like, I was going to say screwed up, you know, like where it's kind of curling round. I'm not sure that's really worked, but... maybe like that. I don't know if that's getting the effect. And now, of course, all that's happening, I'm tearing the page. So perhaps I should not muck about with this so much. But like that, maybe. Okay. Right. I'm just going to then... glue this down because what I did, I've just like folded it over to look like it's, you know, bending a bit in the typewriter. So I'm just going to, yeah, glue that one down like that. Okay, right. Do we want any more flowers anywhere, or are we kind of running out of space, or, you know, kind of like, you know, is it like becoming too flowery? I mean, that one's quite nice up there, to be honest. Perhaps we need a smaller one. So, because I've got obviously several in several sizes, so we can always mix it up. Oh, that's quite nice up there. Okay, and perhaps, oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe like that, to be honest. So yeah, let's just glue this down. And then this one, do we like it there, or kind of like, yeah, over there, I think. So okay, so liking how this all looks so far. It's really, really lovely. Now, going to glue this typewriter down now. Now, I've also just got some of these labelly type pieces, so I'm just wondering whether we could maybe have one of these. These are just from my Christmas freebie. So these are available on my website. So not my Etsy shop, but my Shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk. Oh, Shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk. They're available over there as a free download. So yeah, you get some tag pages and some topper elements. So that's what this is, if you've not seen it before. And you know, if you fancy getting some of it, then help yourself. Oh, maybe up here. Yeah. Just before I glue that down, I've got this oval piece, which, you know, it might look rubbish, but I just wanted to just check whether I'd like to have this on there at all. So let's just take this one. Okay. Could have that down there. I was obviously originally thinking, oh, have it under that label. I mean, I do have a bit of a, oh, everything going down in a sort of diagonal line thing going on here. But weirdly, I don't really mind that actually on this layout. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm not really minding it. Maybe like that. Or I do always love these cut down, so let's just try it here. Maybe like that. And it kind of balances it out a bit and kind of brings in, sorry about the back of this, obviously it's when I'm, you know, printing multiple times to try and get things right, you know, and then it just ends up having to print multiple times, and yeah, multiple times. And then obviously I like to just reuse the paper, of course, rather than waste it. So right. Yeah, let's just pop that one down there like that. Okay, loving this page so far, I have to say. Absolutely yummy, yummy, yummy. Now I've got my black pencil here, and yeah, want to do some shading, probably coming around the typewriter. Yeah, I'm thinking shading around the typewriter, maybe a little bit up here. That's probably kind of it, really. Yeah, so let's glue the typewriter down. Because obviously I'd left that bottom bit for just in case I wanted to tuck anything in behind it. So yeah, let's just pop that down now. Okay. Oops. Just got that little leaf. Just want to put a glue there. Right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of black here. And then just a little bit over here, I think, so. Okay, get my brush. Yeah, is there anything else that I want to do? I'm wondering. Not sure at the moment. So let's do this and see how it looks, and then we'll decide. So let me just get some water on the desk. Okay. Have to say, never convinced by my shading, my ability to shade, but I don't know. I guess it's probably a necessary thing to do. It's one of those things that, you know, just, yeah, like without it, it's perhaps got just not much depth going on the page, but, you know, when you're doing it, it's quite nerve-wracking because it just looks really rubbish. Well, not just when you're doing it, but yeah, maybe stays looking pretty rubbish. So that's that. Now just put a bit down here as well. Again, just going to sort of mop that in a bit. Oh dear, not made a very good job over in that corner. I think breakfast is calling. Definitely, definitely. Do we want any black? I'm thinking kind of around this corner. So yeah, let's just put some here. Maybe coming down a bit. So this is just a watercolour pencil. And I mean, I just really like those watercolour pencils, to be honest. Mine are not posh ones or anything. Actually, this one is a posher one. This one is a Stedler. Hopefully that's how you pronounce that. But I've also got some from W.H. Smith's that are just their own brand. Excuse me. That are just their own brand. And to be honest, you know, I find that they work just as well. So, yeah, I don't think you need kind of a particularly posh brand or anything. I mean, I've not used a posh brand, so who knows? Maybe if I did, I'd kind of think, oh my goodness, that's like night and day difference. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're like me and kind of just starting out, then probably this is, you know, this is good enough. Right. Okay. Do we want any other black? Hopefully you can kind of see just a little bit along there. Okay. Maybe along here a bit. Don't know really. Yeah, let's just put a bit down here. And obviously I stamped with the stays on, and the good thing is with that, of course, you know, I'm not now smudging my ink in or anything, which obviously if I'd have used something else, I would have then been, you know, smudging it in. So, you know, I really love the stays on inks. Just put in a bit more black here. Okay, I have gone over that flower a bit, but again, you know, I mean, I don't really mind. It's not the end of the world. Might just make this a little bit blacker over here, actually. Maybe go into that sort of edge a bit as well. Like that, yeah. You know, for no other reason really, other than just breaking it up so we've got sort of different kind of bits going on, I think. So yeah, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? Now, do we want anything else? I've got my black permanent marker, which I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I could do anything with that. I don't know, like what? Oh, maybe I could do some... Oh, I was about to say do something in the centre of those flowers, and then do you know what? I just suddenly remembered that disaster that I had the other day, and I've still just got that big fat Sharpie, so why would I even think to do that again? So I'm now thinking just some white dots in those flowers. So this is just my white gel pen, but it's really nice. So yeah, maybe just kind of like go out a bit. Okay. And just maybe a bit here. And obviously just for consistency, because I've done it on those, best do it up here as well. So yeah. And again, best do it over here as well, like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over those where I've done that white, just with maybe a little bit of oh, actually I was going to go over it with a bit of pink, but do you know what, I'm going to go over it with a bit of this patina, because I think that would look really, really nice. So I'm just going to put this patina down on, oh, on what? On a piece of paper, I think, because I had a little bit of a job getting it off of my desk last time I used it. Okay. I know, I mean, you know, it's the least of my worries, isn't it, to be honest, but okay. So I'm just going to lightly kind of dab that around. Oh, I don't think that's even doing anything, to be honest, so hang on. Oh, for some reason it's just not really coming out, which is pretty annoying. Okay. Oh no, now look. What a disaster this is turning out to be. Why do I muck about with the centres of the flowers at all? You would really think that I would learn my lesson, wouldn't you? But no, apparently I just don't. That's better. Oh, better than the first one anyway, which, let's face it, couldn't have really looked worse, could it? And then a bit over here, so again, just try and make that look a little bit better. Okay, right, and now for some reason I'm now thinking, oh, I need to now go back over. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest, because that just now looks worse again. So, what on earth? Right. It's just, oh dear. Right, in future, I'm going to just try and remember and just leave the flowers alone. So, that's that page. Now, I can't help but think I would quite like some splashes. Again, you know, I said this last time, I'm not really very good at doing splashes. So I always feel, you know, a little bit on the nervous side about doing any. But shall I have a go? And again, I'm thinking I might just use this patina because it worked so brilliantly last time. Just going to check what other colours I've got. I'm thinking I might have to look online and see if you can get white patina, because that would be really awesome, you know, to be able to do white. I'm just having a look because I have got some white distress spray. The problem is with this, I think it kind of sinks in quite a bit. So let me just have a look. I mean, this might not really be, you know, 4 splashes, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I feel like these disappear to nothing, which, you know, that's just a bit disappointing, isn't it? What do we think? I don't want them going into the background and looking really wishy-washy. I'd rather have massive, big splatters, I think. I can't remember now. What did I do my splatters with the other day? I used the patina, and what did I actually put them on with? Did I do them with a brush? Maybe I did them with a brush. It's very hard to remember, isn't it? All the things that we do, you know, what we've done. Right, let's try this. So I'm just going to try it on a piece of paper. So I'm going to put a nice big blob of the patina down. Now this patina here, this is Antique Copper, I think is the colour. Oh, I can't actually see now, but yeah. Oh, that's just rubbish. It's not really coming out enough to get a decent amount on here. I'm probably running out a bit because I've used it quite a fair bit. Right, let me just see. Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously I stumbled across using that patina as the splashes last time. But what I really loved, here we go. It made such, brilliant. Okay. Yep, I'm going to use this. So fingers crossed I don't spoil this completely. I think I'm going to leave it there, so I don't want to go over the entire thing, but yeah, just those kind of areas there. So love how that looks. Now, do I just want to use some of this? Only because I've got this now here, so I think, oh well, might as well just use a bit of it rather than let it go to waste, because, you know, it's quite expensive. So yeah, I'll just use a bit to go around the edge, I think. So. And I do like to go around the edges, to be honest, because it just finishes it off really nicely. But, you know, having said that, I probably wouldn't have gone around the edge. But I'm just trying to obviously, you know, be, yeah, utilising that's left. But actually, I'm quite liking, you know, again, it's another one of those things that sometimes, I'm not calling this an accident, but you know, that you just maybe haven't really thought of doing, and then something pushes you into doing it, i.e., you know, I just wanted to not waste it. And then you're like, oh, actually, wouldn't have necessarily done that. But to be honest, pleased I have now, because it's giving that a bit more kind of like emphasis, isn't it? So I might just go along here now. Again, just getting in there. Okay. Like that. Okie dokie. Right, let's see. Oh, I love how that looks. Love how that looks. Really, really, really nice. That patina just, looks awesome, doesn't it? Now just thinking I've got to have a bit in this corner because we had nothing going on in this corner whatsoever. So, yeah, it obviously was looking pretty rubbish and naked. So yeah, let's just put something down there. Okay. Oh, well now I'm thinking, oh, we've now got this line, this line along here, which just needs a bit of finishing off as well. So yeah, I've almost gone around the entire page now. Something that started out not really going around the page at all. Now almost covered it. Okay. Right, let's have a look and see how it looks. Yay! Right, going to just get rid of this out of the way. Okey-dokey. Yeah, I think for me, you know, I struggle with doing those splatters. I don't seem to ever be able to get the consistency quite right of the paint that I use. And yeah, so for me, that patina seems like a good way to do splatters. Right, so this is the finished page. I'm just going to bring it up to show you guys, you know, because I don't know how well you can kind of see the whole thing, but I love how it looks now. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the only other thing that maybe I could add is like a sentiment, but to be honest, you know, I'm not sure it's really necessary. But very, very different feel to all the other pages that we've done so far this series. So yeah, I really hope that you like it. Again, I've had a lovely time doing it. I just can't tell you how much I like doing these art journal pages. They're such good fun. And yeah, hope that you like it. Maybe it's given you some inspiration. And thank you so much for watching. I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.